Hi, my name is Ghada Abdel Aal. I am a blogger, writer, screenwriter from Egypt, and I'm honored to be here today. So, as a child growing up in Egypt, I was taught what it means to be a girl. I knew that I had to be polite, decent, quiet, and obedient. I tried so hard to be all of this. Sometimes I made it, sometimes I didn't. But what I knew by heart was that my mission in life is to get married. Our magnificent little society has two faces. I'm not saying anything new here. If you ever attended any family get-together in my country where there is a little boy and a little girl, the first thing they say to the boy, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Half of them, the bullies, will say a police officer. The ones with a bit, more socio-political awareness might say the president. Well, what do they say to the sweet little girl then? What do you want to get married to? Who do you want to get married to when you grow up? Little Hamada or Uncle Khalid, the poor thing will stare at them dumbly and say, "I'm going to marry my father." And everyone will fall about laughing, and that's that. Girls grow up with dolls, brushing their hair, changing their outfits, putting veils on them, and singing like it's their wedding night. Girls in any given culture, in any given town, always want to pretend to be a bride and with other boys for them to be a groom. Of course, we have to force them to play this game because they're not thinking about marriages, they're thinking about their career, or as most of the other men, they're not thinking at all. So it's really this game or this thought that they plant in our minds since our childhood. I mean, this is my picture when I was 5. I mean, I'm not sure that a 5-year-old girl should think about getting married, but that's what happened. Girls climbing up the education ladder, and every time they complete a stage, they hear "Congratulations," immediately followed by, "I can't wait to dance at your wedding. May you find the one soon, sweetie." And when they ask for advice about what to major in college, the invariable response is, "Oh, don't you worry yourself about it. Girls just end up being housewives anyway." And so, girls are programmed over and over again to think that the only thing that's expected of them in life is for them to get married and have children. But what if it doesn't happen this way? Here is a scenario that no one ever talks about, especially women. You see, I'm sure that lots of people here in Europe probably have a stereotypical idea about men and women living in my country since it's part of the Middle East. Some people think that all men are terrorists, all women are oppressed. Well, I have a surprise for you. It's actually the other way around. Men in my country are mostly oppressed, and we are a kind of terrorists. Not that we're blowing up things, but Egyptian women are tough, stubborn. They never change their mind about a lot of things. They never admit a defeat. And no matter what happened to them, they never show that they are hurt or in pain. They teach their daughters to act the same way. We're not allowed to complain about certain stuff, especially marriage. Our biggest taboo is to show to other people that we are vulnerable. Well, I was lucky because I was brought up differently. Since my late mother, God bless her soul, always told me, "When you get hurt, scream ouch." So I did. Since I graduated from college, I entered this new universe of living room marriages, which is, to make it close to you, it's just like blind dating, but you have to marry the guy after like 2 months, which is scary. And In a small community like mine, which is conservative and have a lot of rules, if you even ask to have the chance to know the guy better, if you end up with like sharing a sandwich at McDonald's, that's a scandal. So you can't even ask that. And the guy would start to say, why do you need more time? Can't you see I'm great? So he even get offended, and now you're in your worst nightmare. What should you do? And every time you say no to a guy, that makes you high maintenance, and that makes you look like maybe there's something wrong with you. They never expect that you're the reason of the failure of the marriage. It must be your fault. You must be ugly, undesirable, pathetic, or notorious. Well, I lost my mother at 2003. She was my best friend. We used to talk and laugh about all of this. But since she died, all the women in my family decided that this poor orphan must be now in some guy's apartment. And as it was mentioned before, the criteria is that he must have a career, afford to have a house, and have a heartbeat, and that's enough. So, what did I do? I was really under pressure every day, and I just remembered my mother's advice to say ouch. So I did. What I did is I started my blog at 2006. I spent like 2 minutes to choose the title, and the title was I Want to Get Married, because that is what's on every girl's mind in this stage. But if you read the posts of this blog, it says like, okay, I want to get married, but to whom? This is the big problem. Before my blog, it was all the blogging in Egypt was just political. This was the first social blog, and it was a blog by a girl making fun of herself, so it was very popular, like in a week. So I always had this beautiful button that is given to us by blogger that says delete this blog right in front of me, because I knew that I will be attacked, I will be insulted, all the men will come and say terrible things about me, even though I was blogging anonymously, but I was so terrified of it. But what happened is that I found a lot of girls who were writing to me saying, you express our feelings, and we were waiting for so long for someone like you to speak out. Because all the time in Egypt, if the marriage is a failure, then it's your fault. You are the materialistic beast. You always want more and more and more. And no one ever spoke about the other side, the women's side, because what if I didn't like him? What if I wasn't attracted to him? What if he was a horrible idiot and a good-for-nothing loser? I mean, what should I do? And no one ever talked about this subject from this angle. And I found out that it's not a male-female thing, because every guy has a sister or a cousin or a neighbor or a colleague that's going through the same thing. So it was, actually everyone was very supportive, and I was very surprised by that. But it really amazed me, the whole buzz about the blog, because I thought that I was talking about something very normal and saying something that we are saying every day. But in our society, you shouldn't really talk about stuff like that. So what happened is the blog went very popular, and girls found out that, wow, we can actually talk about this. So it started a whole wave of blogs by girls and boys talking about stuff that they never talked about before, which is very simple stuff, but no one talked about it. And I don't know why. You had another girl talking about also marriage. She called her blog A Spinster's Diaries. She's 30, and when you're 30, you get the wonderful title of spinster in Egypt. So another one, she's against me, so she's saying, I don't want to get married, which is fine by me. Another woman talking about difficulties in her marriage. The title of the blog is something like Fed Up, something like that. That's a blog about a woman dedicating her blog to her child. She had a custody battle and she lost her child, so the title of the blog is The Apple of My Eye, and she's talking to her child through her blog. And of course, because I said I want to get married, it was a matter of time before someone says, I want to get divorced. So that's the blog about divorcing. And the blog was amazing hit that it has, like, until now, more than 665,000 visitors, which is a lot. And that's what attracted this big publishing house into publishing the book. This is supposed to be me, I think. Bad arms, bad legs, but whatever. And at the time of the publishing of the book at the book fair, actually I got more male readers than female. Because, well, basically everyone wants to see what do I look like? I mean, yeah. And I can hear people around me saying, well, not bad, so what's the problem? So, yeah. Then came the male attack. I want to get married, but in a male version, which is nice. I don't want to get married in a male version, which is fine by me. I'm sure a lot of girls don't want to get married to him too. So lots of men just came and took pictures with me, but with a distance, and saying, you know, I want to take a picture with you, but, you know, I don't want to get married. And I said, okay, okay. Then what happened is, what was great is that the book was the second bestseller in Egypt in 2008, which has never happened. You never have female writers in the bestseller list, and you never have 20-something writers in the bestseller list, because in our mind, the writer has to be over 60 with thick glasses and dead for like 10 years to be a writer. So that was very amazing. And came the media, the international media attention, BBC, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, Italian things, and then came the translations. Italian translation, German translation with a terrible cover, but whatever. The American translation doesn't have anything to do with the Middle East, but fine, it's an American translation, it's great. The Dutch translation, which is available now. This is not an advertising. So, and of course came the name calling, Bridget Jones, which is not flattering because it says that I'm fat, pathetic, and I'm in love with Hugh Grant, which I'm not. I hope that I would call Helen Fieldings, which the woman who wrote Bridget Jones, but whatever. Bridget Jones. Then the American went creative, so Carrie Bradshaw. You know, Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. I didn't write about the sex, so maybe I wrote The City or something. So then came the TV series, and the TV series was aired last Ramadan. It was big controversy because the book was about me, the pathetic girl who wanted to get married, but now the TV series is about everyone, and everyone said, no, we don't want to get married because we're not allowed to say that we want to get married. But yet, the between 60 TV series was aired in last Ramadan. This was one of the top 3, and it was the most the #1 show watched by Saudi women, so go figure. Then the media attention about the TV series. Egyptian women gain a voice. TV comedy, Egyptian women gain a voice. Of course, everyone has to copy Washington Post. Then came the subject in general. Everyone was talking about the marriage crisis. The Middle East marriage crisis. Of course, people are not that creative, but whatever. So now it's a big theme, marriage and women, and all these girls now issued books about marriage. And we had like a new genre of young female or young women literature because of this book, which was great because now we can speak out and people can listen. And that was not possible before. And it's not just because speaking out, but it's because of using the humor. Egyptian people are not really, they will not listen if you just talk to them or complain in a serious way. You have to put it in a satirical way, in a humorous way. So if you can't beat them, laugh with them, or laugh at them and convince them that you're laughing with them. But this is how it works. So what I'm doing now, because of my experience, that I'm starting something in my hometown, which is a small town. Well, it's not that small. It's of 2.5 million people, but we call it small because Cairo have 20 million people. So it's 2.5 million people with no cultural centers, with no cultural activities. So what I've done is that I proposed this project to the Dutch embassy in Cairo, and they were so generous to fund this 1-year program of new media, teaching women and men to express themselves online, and hopefully making blogs, making websites, and making small movies, small videos about their everyday life and their everyday problem. So we are teaching them that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to speak out about your pain and about your issues, but it's also advisable to do that with a smile on your face, because based on my experience, smile goes a long way. Thank you.
Can I ask you?
Okay, thank you.
Come. Oh, we're not going to let her run
Okay.
away. I want to ask you something. What a story. I'm so interested in you because you write a blog. And then 1-2 years later, you are the role model of the Arab Western world and talking on occasions like this about women that don't want to get married, actually, because you're writing about having a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
So how was that for you?
In which way?
Well, how did you experience from writing a blog to becoming a famous person and have your book translated in 4 languages and everything?
It's amazing because most of the time I look at that and I think that that's happening to someone else. I really don't, it didn't hit me yet. But of course, when I go to book signing or book discussions, or now thinking of myself as a writer and trying to plan the next book or the next script, or it's very amazing. And it's also had, you know, an effect on my personal life, because now everyone is afraid to propose to me.
Yes, getting married is not an option for you anymore.
No, because everyone is so frightened to find his story in the next book. So, yeah.
And do you consider yourself a writer or a feminist?
Oh,
or both?
I don't consider myself a feminist because if I introduce myself as a feminist in Egypt, no one will listen to me, because they always have the reputation of like defying tradition and religion, and I don't want to go there. I just want to explain things and make people understand. So hopefully I can continue a career as a writer, but that will be decided by the next book, I think.
Okay. Well, we got the message. We saw the book is translated in Dutch.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.